please.
Jessica Sewell. Sheriff Daniel. Diane Griffin. Nicole Gatewood.
All present accounted for. Public comment?
None.
Okay. On the agenda, I'm going to ask to adopt the agenda with the exception of moving report under C, the General Land Office, to, on the agenda, move it below new business I. So when you make your motion is to approve with the General Land Office report taking place after I. Okay.
Make a motion to approve it.
A second. As stated. Right?
Stated, yes, sir.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes, January the 5th. You have a copy of them.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? If no discussion, call for a vote. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Right. Approval of bill to be paid. Like you have a pile of them.
I make a motion to pay the bills. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, we'll go to number 7, reports. Josh, you want to tell us about the wastewater treatment plant?
The average flow for the plant was 48,000 gallons. That's at 24% capacity. The max flow is 78,000 gallons, and the rain total is 2.25. And all lift stations there were no issues for the month. There was no issues for the month of December for sampling. And Travis passed his T wastewater.
Yay, congratulations.
So we've got a real backup for you.
That's it.
Y'all don't have to talk on the cell phone long, but he can go take care of it.
There you go.
That's good. Any questions for Josh? No. Okay, on the financials, I'm not gonna, this is the first month. I'm not gonna get into those. Still straightening up last year's right now, so if you see something, you got any questions, let me know. No legislative reports as far as I'm concerned. The council may have something he wants to bring up. He's podium here in a minute. Take a look at where we stand. I noticed the first funds for the general fund was a little percent or two off, but that's just the first month out of 12 months, so we're still in good shape. Coldspring Volunteer Fire Department, Michelle.
So we had a total of 36 runs in January. We had 4 structure fires, 2 forest fires, 1 wildland grass fire, 3 smoke investigations, 1 downed tree during the winter storm. We had 3 MBAs, 6 EMS assist relating zones, 5 fire alarm, false alarm calls, 6 disregards, and 5 medicals. We are continuing our in-house training. We had 4 people complete their Fire 1 training, 4 complete their Fire 2 training, and 4 complete their hazardous operations training. 5 completed their state hands-on skills, and we have 1 actively completing their Fire 1 now. Upcoming trainings, we have stop the bleed and familiarity and drills we're going to be completing. There's still no county-wide training scheduled for this month. Station improvements, we turned the gym into a locker room, and our oven needs repairs, which will be completed this week. The ESD, there are 2 new board members. We've set up a meeting for contract discussions for January 9th. February 9th, sorry. So we have no new members this month. Our First Responders of the Future Club, we have scheduled our meetings for every other Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. at the station, room A15. This month we've got the wildland, medical, and the Sheriff's Department came to discuss law enforcement. We have a meeting with Dr. Fulton and Dr. Clammer to discuss the CTE firefighter class at the high school on February 11th. During the winter storm, we had 4 members overnight. at the station doing duty crew, 8 members during the day. And then we opened a warming center at the station from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. for anybody in need. The state did accept our new ISO rating for 5X.
Any questions? For the report? Sounds like you'll stay busy. Josh, not helping, Okay, capital projects, the community center, we're out looking for funding right now. We're going 2 different routes. As anything develops, I'll keep you briefed on it. The fire department building, when we talk about new grants, that's one of the ones that we're working on. Sidewalk project, if you've seen the blue sign across in the right of way, they're starting the sidewalk from the high school down to the Exxon station. We're letting them use this area back here to lay down the rebar and stuff. They won't be there that long, and that's what those orange barricades are for. We're going to set the materials there and work out of that. Department of Ag, that's the Faulkner Street project that we had $200,000 left over. We reapplied, and we're fixing to go out for bid for that. That's a short project. It probably can be done in about 30 to 60 days. It's all gravity. By doing this, I will open up access to the sewer over to 2973 Slade for a lot of the houses over there that want to be on it. And go ahead and extend it further down Faulkner as far as we can take it with that $200,000. So hopefully within the next 90 days, we'll be awarding that contract and getting that taken care of. As we said earlier, the General Land Office will discuss that later on in the agenda. Texas Parks and Wildlife. We looked at samples of crushed granite and some of the base. We've done some numbers. The numbers are coming in high, so we're going to take some bids on that. We've got the seal on the electrical done and off to Parks and Wildlife. There's a permit that we needed, that we have for Texas regulatory and licensing as far as ADA. That was the reason for the crushed granite. That was ADA friendly, and that's what they recommended as far as walkways. We should have that within the next 30 to 60 days so we can pull the trigger on this. The big challenge, and we've marked it over and over again, the new trails, is the number of trees that are going to come out of there. Most of them are small sweet gums that already died anyway, and we'll be replacing those with oak trees throughout the area. So that'll be the big push, is to get that new path cleared so we can do the dirt work and lay the electrical plumbing and stuff that we need to do, the security cameras. Hopefully we can pull this off in a year. I sure hope so. Which means that the park is going to be closed while we're doing that. So as soon as we get a start date, we'll post it where people can make arrangements. They may want to go over and walk on the county park. They may want to go over to the high school and work on the track. We'll try to accommodate them however we can. I think it's going to be worth the wait when we come back. We'll, like I tell everybody here, we'll endeavor and persevere and fall down the road a little bit. City Hall, we've got an expansion for the municipal court, part of that going up, and that's going to be a shelf-ready project, meaning that it won't happen this year. The record retention building, which is now called the Public Works Building, out at the sewer plant, we've sent in some requested material to the engineer. We're waiting on the permit to get started on that. Will we get close on that? I check every once in a while. Let's put it this way. I've answered answered all the questions I think would possibly be asked, so we'll go from there. Any questions on any of that? Like I said, we'll talk about General Lynn's office at the end of the agenda. Everybody okay on that? Okay. Greg?
Well, for tonight, everything that I've got to say is on the agenda further down, if you want to just wait.
Yeah, when we get there, you can make comments on those offices and other stuff. Let's see, sewer reports, Amanda.
I had 14 adjustments for grease testing, one for a refund of the remainder of deposit after it was applied to the account, and I didn't have anybody on the lot loss.
Very good. Questions? We have no bill business. We'll go to new business. First one is discussion and possible action of public event application for the annual San Jacinto County Master Gardener's Plant Sale on March the 28th. We put in a public event where we will close one of the city streets that's between the courthouse and the annex there. A little short span of it for them to set up and get a bit closer to the action, because that's when Trades Day will be going on, and other events. I think the fire department has something going on also on that day.
No, that's.
Not the 28th?
It's the other. The unplanned,
So that's Trades Day?
it'll be Trades Day.
Yeah.
I have one request.
All right, go
I
ahead.
got my last name spelled wrong on here.
Well, you do what I do, take a red pen and change it.
I did. But I just think it's correcting.
Also have, the correct title, and that's my fault for not telling you, is SJC Master Gardeners. It is not San Jacinto County written out.
Oh, come
I
on.
was just corrected
Yeah,
at my own meeting as the president.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. SJC.
Legally, we're SJC Master Gardeners.
Okay.
It's reading off y'all's,
I know.
I think y'all filled this out.
I did.
I was just reading what you put on there.
I know.
Correction.
I just said we've been corrected,
The
haven't
good news
we?
is I'm asking for a motion to accept.
Yeah,
your
I make a
food.
motion with.
Wait a minute, you're not through yet, because we got one review we're waiting on. It's with our fire department. As soon as they review to make sure that the road is passable where emergency
Okay.
stuff can get through. So I'm asking you to approve it pending the fire department's response to this. The insurance is in and it's all good. Go ahead.
I make a motion with the 2 corrections in the names and the pending the fire department's approval. We accept the SJC Master Gardener.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. B, briefing on 2627 grant proposals. Every time I try to put one in, they don't have applications. So we have 3 that we're going up for. One of them has to deal with the renovation of the fire department building in the back and renovation of the one in the front. We'll see how that goes. The numbers look pretty good for that. It's about $1 million project. We'll see how that works out. Haven't made the application because they don't have the forms yet, but we will as soon as they get them ready. Disaster relief money that's on the table, we're putting in for flood mitigation in the downtown area. Once again, that's $1 million grant. We'll put in for that, see how that walks along. You don't get the answer to those to early 27. Okay, that's how that runs out. Parks and Wildlife, I want to finish this one before I put in for another one, but from this park, we'll move to park, I guess number 1, which is the ballpark, and we'll do probably 2 or 3 years of what I call soft grants. They're probably a 50-50 match, $100,000, where we'll go in and replace some lights and do some very electrical work that we need to do. And later on, I have that on the agenda, and I'll talk more about it. So we're looking at about proposals that we'll put in for, and we'll see how it comes out. You got a question, sir?
Just real quick, the ones that you're talking about, are we competing for the same grants?
Absolutely. I'll make sure that I got I'm pretty gone and grease and skids on that. No, I'm joking. You're in a different category. You're in the county category. I'm in the city category. That I compete with other cities, you compete with other counties.
I know we're talking to the same people, I just wanted to
Yeah,
see.
you're talking GL, right?
Right.
Yeah. And if you're using Langford, they know the difference, okay? No problem. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I don't want to take any of your money.
All right. You're not gonna take my money. Okay, let's see. Discussion and possible action giving the mayor permission to establish an office for the city of Cold Springs Fire Marshal. Basically, I'm wanting to establish an office. Okay, on down here, you're gonna see H, which is a draft or ordinance, okay, for the Fire Marshal office, which you have a copy of, okay? So, council, I'd like, I guess, authorization to establish an office, and the office, and I've met with Michelle, is out at our building, at the firehouse, okay? The actual fire marshal's office.
It's in the building, it's already there.
Building's there, the office is there.
The office.
And you've already budgeted for office equipment, for supplies, file cabinets, folks and stuff like that. Once I meet with Michelle, I'll come back to y'all, and I'm just asking for permission to work on it and bring it back to you.
I make a motion.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. Michelle, I'll see you sometime this month. We're on D now. Briefing on the city's memorandum of understanding with the youth league. I met with a new person in charge. We both have signed it, so we have this understanding in place. Pick it up later. Y'all need to, in your motion, approve that. What in our meeting that we had, Alyssa Marshall is the person in charge. I had her make me a wish list. They don't expect this now, but these are areas that they see in the park that they would like to work on with us. The critical thing is the refrigerator's was out last year, and they babied it. And I asked them to give me 3 examples of what they were looking for refrigeration. These all have some price tags on them. These are what they were recommending. When you look at the two doors and compare it to a 3-door, you're not that far off. We would probably go with a 56 cubic foot, the larger one, which is 21 at 78. Okay. When you look at the other 2, they're coming in at about $1,900. So I'm gonna you give me direction on what you want to do. We'll get on the internet and check a couple of other ones and see what the delivery time is and stay within the price range that y'all direct me to do.
Go ahead with it.
The large one?
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to.
Second.
All right, I got a second. Any discussion? All right, so what we're doing is we're approving the signing of the memo of understanding, which will stand until one of us want to redo it. Okay, it's automatically renewed. That's the way it's always been. It does have the changes in there about any type of fundraiser events, food trucks and stuff like that, where we're notified about that. So that's what we changed about, I guess, 9 months ago, first time. So that's in there. So all that's done. That's a briefing. No questions. It doesn't need to be a motion. Okay. Okay. We're going to go to
There's a motion on the floor, you need to vote. There was a motion made by Jessica.
Well, but it's a briefing, we don't need to make one.
Oh, okay.
Y'all,
Gotcha.
y'all just directed me to go to the 3 door, and I will, and before I buy it, I'll bring it back to you.
But if we need it before next month.
You'll get a phone call from Jody. Let's see. Yeah, it needs to be done before the season opens up. Okay. There's one other thing on the briefing. Whenever we built it, we didn't put an awning around the, where you take your orders. So if it's raining, you're standing in the rain. I met with them and looked at it, and it's going to be fairly simple, something we can get on our own. And when I met with Ms. Marshall the other day, we agreed that we would wait till after the season to do it, so we don't start construction while they're trying to have events, okay? So they were okay with that. So that'll come up, and it'll be something later this year that I'll get bids on and y'all will look at and have a chance for input on that. So that finishes out the briefing on the youth league, and we're going to go to E, discussion of possible action authorizing the mayor to develop a city ordinance for city permit office, including site preparation, demolition, and requirements for residential and commercial. I think of all of this and working on this flood mitigation, the most important thing that we need to put in our permitting is when it's a piece of raw land and it's cleared, and what's going to happen to the drainage once all the debris and the trees are gone. So, and so they will, especially commercial, they will apply for a permit and do a study on the impact on the flood situation. Right now, we've got a lot of stuff around the sheriff's department. It's all holding, and the reason why it's holding is because it's got to cross the highway, so it's a little retention pond in front of the shelter. I don't see a retention pond anywhere around the innovation. So if we go on with the development of that large tract that's been cleared without a retention pond, we could very well see that the innovation center may flood a little bit. So that's something that needs to be studied before we go forward. And that was the reason why last meeting I wanted to hang on to that right away, because that may be part of the solution there. I'm not sure. But within this permit office that we're going to create, there needs to be a permit for commercial development. And one of the things that in 2 cases out on the KISS property where the lubricant used to be, the clear cutting of that and the burning of an old house that was demolished sent a lot of volatile organic compounds in the air that you don't want to get in the air. So when we look at demolishing an old structure, or when we look at removing a bunch of organic, I forget what engineers call it, organic grass, okay, and trees, it's going to impact the runoff. And so we're going to need a runoff study, and we all need to agree that most of these are going to require some type of retention pond to slow this runoff to where when we cross the highway 2 times, that it doesn't start backing up and eventually bite us from the city standpoint. The other is commercial. It'll be a little bit more detail on the permit. And I've got a list of things that need to be on the commercial drawing and design, and a structural engineer and a hydro engineer and stuff like that needs to happen. This will affect the county, and it will also affect the city on anything the city does. We're not going to exempt ourselves from this permit situation. So we'll get into that. We get ready to renovate the firehouse. We're going to do a study on what's that going to do. How much rain is going to come off that roof? Are we going to get into catching rain and using it to water later on? Or how, have to find a retention pond. How are we going to do this? Right now, they have a flooding problem in the building in the front. I mean, when it reaches a certain point and it doesn't grow, doesn't flow off on the trenches and the culverts that we have, it goes in the building. So that's something we'll have to address. Example at the community center, that slab after 50 or 60 years has settled a little bit, and you get too much rain and it stands, it comes off of the street, it goes into the building. So that's something that when we do the new building, we're going to have that slab at least 6 inches higher than it is. We're going to have some type of probably do rainwater harvest at that one, okay? And maybe any other building that the city does, that'll help quite a bit, especially in the situation we're in right now with the droughts, if we're going to do any kind of gardening. But those are things that I'm asking for the authorization for me to work council and engineering and get some structure set up as far as our permit office goes as we take that over. So that's what the motion needs to be, to authorize the mayor to set up a permit office. And this will be a give and take thing. We'll come back and you give it to you, and send it back. We send it back, or if I need to bring the engineer here to talk about what we're really talking about on the runoff study, we'll do that also, so you'll have more information on what we're trying to achieve. If we keep going the way we're going, and the construction, all the land that was bought up takes off at one time, then we're gonna have a lot more high water flooding because it will not rain quick enough to get it away. The mitigation is what we're looking at. That's what the grant that we have is studying right now. And the area that we're looking at is right around the sheriff's office from the courthouse. It comes one way, from the other hill it comes the other way. It meets, it goes underground into the retention pond and then the drainage ditches in front of the shelter. 6 inches of rain, it can't get across the highway. And if it builds up too much, it will go over the highway. The example will be down at the barbecue house on Faulkner and 150. When that all comes out, Faulkner Creek, if some of that, and that's a targeted area to look at for us to do, take some of that creek and put in some retention ponds and slow that down a little bit to where it has a chance to run off before it all gets down to the highway. And that's what that grant's about. So I'll shut up and somebody can make a motion to give me the authority to do the study.
And this no study, can you get back with us?
Let's see.
Has to need to be.
Discussion possible action on authorizing the mayor to develop the city ordinance for the city permit office. So you're giving me the authority to develop that with legal and with engineering and bring it back to you. And the key areas in that is site preparation, demolition, and the requirements for residential and the requirements for commercial construction. Those are the 4 areas that we'll focus on in the permit office.
Right, so we're still punching late. I'll make a motion.
Probably by the end of the year, I want to get it finished.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for you to work on that.
Second?
I'll second.
Y'all want to discuss it any further? All right, call for a vote. All in favor? All right.
Come back with it, discuss.
Maybe I got a question on how hard is it to get the water to go past Methodist Church in that direction?
Most of it comes down. And there is
another creek back behind it, I know.
Well, it's already there.
Well, it's spread, around y'all's fellowship hall, it goes the other way in behind the old Robbie Foster Realtor. it goes some that way, some back, some under, back towards Dr. Field's place. So, it's still, I mean, it comes up down the hill for sure.
But it's coming from the sheriff's department over there now, to that same ditch.
I think it's blocked right there. One time we walked over there, it's blocked by the church. They got that retention wall that they say then, but that's a big.
There was
Oh, right there.
water accumulated in front of that one time, not very long
I know the
ago.
study would do that, but I remember there was a clean out right in front of the Paradise Grill right there. And I don't think does that go back across the other side of the road and see where it
We
goes?
got a catch basin over at the courthouse that comes to that, and a catch basin over at McMurray's Insurance building that goes underground, comes there. And then there's been a lot of discussion with the highway department which way that line runs. And now that I'm looking at it more, it ultimately goes under the bank's parking lot and exits out in front of the shelter, if you look at those culverts. And then it runs down, and it goes under and across over towards the new gas station. And it takes off down what I call Faulkner Creek. I think there's a different name for it, but that might be an area where we may do some eminent domaining around there and put in a series of retention ponds to slow the stuff down a little bit and release it slower. I've got a video that I was going to show tonight, but I'll hold off on it. And it's what happens down at the barbecue house when you get 4 inches of rain. That goes underwater because it's flowing so fast and it's dangerous. And the guy taking the video was standing behind the fence, and I said, it's a good thing you got something to hold on to because it was moving through there. It was trouble. Washed out our new manhole that we had there. Of course, they didn't do too good a job on compacting all of that. We've gone back and fixed that, but that happens anytime it's 4 inches or more. That's what's going to happen. It's a flash flood behind the apartments and all the way down that creek. So it's something that we're looking at, and we'll ask to be able to put some retention ponds in there, or either if we have to in a couple of years, take it and do it with a grant and slow that down. But on the other end, we've got to have some retention ponds also to slow it from getting there so quickly. But we'll have a plan, okay? This is an ongoing work. Did that answer your questions about the program?
Yeah, it's just getting to work on it.
All right. Did y'all vote?
Yes.
We vote on that, everybody good, okay. San Jacinto County Master Garden.
SJC.
SJC.
All right, discussion of possible action authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with San Jacinto County Master Gardeners, that's the way it's written on here, to relocate the demonstration garden at the community center. And I thought this would be a good time to do this if I'm gonna start tearing that thing up this year and rebuilding it, which will be close to the end of the year. So I'm giving my master gardeners an opportunity here, and we'll work with them on it to remove some of the stuff that's there that's sacred over to our park back here. That's what I'd like to do, is enter into an agreement with them. I have a meeting with the Brain Trust Master Gardeners on Thursday, is that correct, Judy?
Yes.
And what we're gonna do is get back here and walk through this. There's a lot of opportunity for demonstration gardens in this park back here, in the middle of the walking areas and around the edge. We already have in the grant, we teamed up with the Master Gardeners, and where we got some points was on putting a pollination garden on the back side, on the outside of the outer loop for bees, honeybees and stuff like that with natural flowers, and that helped us get the grant. So they're gonna be working on that.
Texas Master Naturalist as well.
Yeah,
Not just-
on that, not
Yes,
just
just on
y'all,
that.
but y'all were part of, I named y'all in the grant.
And
But in the initial walkthrough I did, and I reached out to them and said, look, you got all this stuff over there, I don't wanna throw it all away. We can pick it up and set it up over here. We've got 30 foot on the outside, all the way around. Plus you've got the inside of those walking trails that we can do something with. So, I'm gonna bring them in here in March after we walk through this and make some type of proposal on an agreement with them, to move that over here and, get into the maintenance of that, some of the other ideas that they have, okay? Have we set a time for the 5th?
Yes, 9:30 a.m.
If anyone on the council is available around 9:30, come on over. We'll
On
walk
the
out
5th
there.
or
That's
And,
March.
February 5th.
5th.
No. Yeah, February 5th.
February 5th.
This Thursday. This coming Thursday.
I don't know, I've walked it with them once, they kind of slow, I have to slow down a little bit. I told them I'd get my truck driving out there if I need to. I'm joking. Catch it on that. But anyway, we've gone ahead and flagged all the new trail a little bit more, and it's 6 to 8 foot wide with shoulders on it. So you can see where the trail's gonna go. And I wanted them to see the areas that I was talking about, understanding that some of the stuff that we're gonna do has to have direct sunlight, so we need to take a look at that. Along with, by the end of the month, we'll have all the trees that are coming out marked, and that'll be the first part of the construction, is to take all those out and root ball out. So, if you're available, come on over. So, discussion of possible action authorizing mayor to enter into an agreement. Obviously, the agreement's not finished until the council approves it, okay? But I'll bring that to you
SJC Master Garden.
in March.
Just make sure we change the name.
Yeah, Jody will take care of it.
SJC.
I make a motion, so said.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
If you can, come on the 5th and do the walkthrough.
Nothing else.
All in favor? Opposed?
No, I.
I got a big copy of that.
Okay, G, the discussion of possible action authorizing the mayor to forward a new interlocal agreement between the city and the San Jacinto County Emergency Service District for the use of the fire department building to, I got on here, to the chair, the new chair of the ESD. We took the old agreement, correct me if I'm speaking out of here, the old agreement with the Coldspring Volunteer Fire Department Association and the ESD to, and I'm gonna call it, provide, what do y'all call it? Beds?
It's
Housing for EMS. They overnight and they work out of there. So we took that agreement, since it probably changed hands, and we used it for boilerplate, and we sent off the agreement. It came back with too much change to it, so I decided, with all my wisdom and counsel, that we would wait until the new members were seated and we'd allow them to take a look at it. So what we're doing is we'll send this over to them to review. In a nutshell, if I'm wrong here, all we're asking is that the SD provide payment for reimbursement on the electrical. I'm providing the sewer and the water, basically, on a monthly basis. All that is put in the city's name, so that I've been paying the bills. Well, the city has been, not me, the city has been paying the bills. And all we're gonna do is pick up where we left off from. I'm not gonna go back and try to recover money. I'm talking about this point forward. Each month we'll pay the bills and then we'll send you copies of the paid bills to the ESD and they'll reimburse the city. All right,
That's it.
That's it, so, I have the latest on that, I will sign it, and we'll send it over to ESD.
Who's the president of the ESD?
Tammy Wilson.
Any questions?
If you have any questions,
Do I require, yes, discussion of possible action, authorize the mayor to forward that, please.
Make a motion to approve you forwarding that.
Second,
I second.
any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay. H. This is a little bit different than what we voted up there for. Under the fire code, we are required to pass an ordinance establishing the city fire marshal office, which you have a copy of. Council worked on it, forwarded to me, I turned around and put it in this package. Is that right, Governor?
Basically what I did, I just went through the state law as to what a fire marshal's duties were, with her qualifications and such, and put that into the ordinance.
So, we will continue to work very close with the county fire marshal and support them in exchange. They work close with us and support us. So, we're not setting up our separate state, okay? We're just taking care of things that needs attention in the city. And I've talked with the county fire marshal, and he's good to go with that. And the relationship that we've had with them remain. I just need to make this official. We need an ordinance establishing the fire marshal office. So, you had a chance to read that, I need a motion.
I will make a motion, but if we see we need to change it, we need to change it
Right.
right away. You know, this is new to us.
Well, we're going to be operating on a little bit higher fire code,
Yes.
and it will impact our key rate, our insurance rate in the city, if we strive to that level. So that was one of the reasons I was involved in trying to do that, and to set up the office. Also, we will be more visible because some of the schools fall in the city, some of them don't. And we'll talk about that later, not this meeting. And we'll make sure everybody's protected. Some of our businesses are a little bit slack as far as fire suppression and stuff like that. And it needs to, you know, the same thing that impacted senior citizens, and I didn't resist it, is when they went to deep frying, their fire suppression system didn't cover those new deep fires. And whenever they were told, you got to do something about that, that's when Charlene came to us and we talked about. And I had put in some fire suppression systems in other jobs that I had in my other life. So I had a good contact, we brought them in, and they were real reasonable, and we got it taken care of. To where if there is a flash fire, it will cover that flash fire, and that suppression system goes on immediately. So those are things that we're looking at. We're not going to move at an all-out pace to get in line with the direction we're going, but we are going to ask businesses to comply. And you will see that we are asking businesses to comply with our sewer ordinance. waited long enough for them to put in grease traps and sampling tubes, and we're gonna be asking people to shut down until they get it in, if they're not, you know, whatever. So, it's just taking care of some house cleaning that we need to do, and it's time to do it. That's why we're pushing the municipal court system, because without that, those ordinances aren't enforceable. And hopefully by the middle of this year, we will have some municipal court cases in this room until we can get that one built. And I'll talk to council about that. All right, so let's just focus on where we are. You made the motion? I'll make the motion. Second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, page carried. I have discussion of possible action authorizing the mayor to review the Coldspring area library's proposed contract. I have a meeting tomorrow with Marcia. Where is she here? Back there. Marcia and Diane. We're going to meet tomorrow about, I think, 9:30. You do have a resolution in place to support the library. Typically, we have 3 organizations that we passed in a resolution to support, one being the senior citizens, one being the fire department, and one being the Coldspring area library. Typically, we budget $20,000 a year for each of them. In working with our CPA that advises us, and also with our auditors, the way we've started handling the $25,000 is that the organization comes to us and says, "Hey, I need this," and they give us the specs or give us where they want to buy it. We actually buy it. It's built in the city. We pay for it, and we give it to them. Versus giving them, the organizations, a check for $25,000. It covers us in our audits, and that's why we're doing it that way. It's not to penalize anyone. So I think at the end of the year, the seniors are running short on funds for utilities, and they had a leftover reserve, and they asked us, "Would you take care of our utility bills the rest of the year," which we had the funds, they hadn't spent, and so we just went over and paid the utility bill and gave them a receipt from Chico. So there's ways that we can handle it, and that's what we'll explore with the library tomorrow. So as far as what I need from discussion possible, authorize the mayor to review this with the library and come back to y'all next meeting and tell you guys what we got. Motion.
Make a motion to maybe the library.
I second.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. We had moved the briefings to the GLO. And the reason why I moved it is because we will go into executive session to do that briefing. Nothing positive. Okay, I'm gonna say we'll be out of this executive session in 10 minutes. We're gonna try.
Get quicker.
And then when we come out, we'll call everybody back in and let you know what we're going on there. Okay, thank y'all. Take 5 minutes to clear the room, turn the, then wait for all, please.